I discovered my wife's affair during military service, only to find years later our son wasn't mine or her lover's. Have you ever witnessed trust shatter like crystal? I have. Once enveloped in the warmth of love, only to find myself cast into the cold abyss of betrayal. The wound of betrayal is profound and unforgettable. When true feelings turn into deceit, my beloved emotions turned into a cold sting. Night after night, her false statements haunted my ears like ghosts, each lie cut through my heart like a sharp blade. My heart was broken stepping from joy into a journey of betrayal. This is my story. Listen to its waves. My name is Ethan Gray. My life has been full of twists and turns. I neither feel proud nor ashamed of what I have done. Life is tough and often requires making difficult decisions. I grew up with a broad mind, but often with an empty pocket, 2 younger sisters and 2 older brothers. I just happened to be the middle child in the family. Due to the needs of life, I started making money from a young age. Although everyone said I was smart, most of the jobs I got were simple and slightly higher paying. When I was attending community college, I made a meager income by selling my old books and materials. In my sophomore year, I met Isabella. We quickly fell in love. In just 6 weeks, we decided to quietly leave and start a new life together. That period was filled with passion. She was wild and unrestrained, but she had her limits. Some things she was adamant about not letting me touch, which was never a problem. I worked 32 hours a week at a fast food restaurant in exchange for social benefits, while also attending classes for 14 hours at night. Isabella worked as a data entry clerk at an insurance company. We spent all our money on tuition and barely making ends meet with almost no savings. We were constantly striving, looking forward to a better future. When money got tighter, joining the military seemed to be our last hope. The military benefits bill seemed promising for the future. A month after receiving basic training, Isabella called to say she was pregnant. Her parents said they would help take care of the child. I was still young and everything was a mess. 2 years later, our son was born. If it had been a girl, we had already decided to name her Gloria, but our boy was named Liam Nolan. However, even though I was still out of town, I received divorce papers. The papers did not ask for any alimony, only a divorce application and a birth certificate. Life is always full of surprises, but you have to learn to accept and move on. I didn't have a son named Liam Nolan Gray. The birth certificate showed that Isabella's colleague, Marcus Hart, was the father of the child named Marcus Hart Jr. Since I was not the child's father, there was no need for me to see him again. My friends all told me that I would be better off without her. Although it was hard to accept, my heart seemed to understand this from the day I received those papers. Since then, I have never contacted Isabella again. Rebuilding trust is not easy, but I did find someone who truly loved me. Our relationship almost ended. I met Lena at a community celebration nearby. She is the sister of one of my neighbors, and we had not really communicated before. The past trauma made me too introverted. It was Lena who first broke the silence. I heard you just returned from overseas, she said softly. Yes, just finished my duty. How long have you been back from your mission? About 9 months. Are you here alone today? How do you usually spend your time? As usual, perhaps with a bit more warmth. Where do you live? I'm here to visit my cousin, she said, pointing to a woman who didn't look like her at all. Then why are you still smiling here? Your expression. Actually, I've seen you here before. It seems you can choose to be shy, but I can't. Well, mysterious lady, shall we leave here and go get some ice cream and watch a movie? By the way, my name is Ethan Gray. I'd love to. My name is Lena. This is the beginning of our story. 8 months later, Lena and I had moved in together. She was studying hard to become a lawyer, and after finishing my studies, I found a job as a warehouse manager. We rented a house in a quiet neighborhood. On weekends, we would drive to Las Vegas to relax. Life was sweet, but we hadn't mentioned marriage yet. I must admit, I know very little about many things happening around me. After agreeing to attend a community gathering, I found myself alone in the courtyard. Lena couldn't get off work in the afternoon, so I went alone. I had to try to avoid our neighbor Chloe, who was too enthusiastic about flirting. Lena didn't like her trying to seduce me away from the group. Just make sure you don't stay alone with Chloe, Lena admonished. Understood, I replied and gave a military salute. I was very good at avoiding Chloe. The newlyweds Ryan and Hazel were dressed very casually. Hazel's short skirt was light underneath, hugging everyone warmly and revealing a lot. Ryan didn't seem to mind. The party was about to end because some men had already disappeared. I felt I had stayed long enough to be polite. When I told Ryan I was ready to leave, he was directing someone to go inside. "Are you sure, Ethan? You'll miss the fun," Ryan said with a smile. "Yes, I'm sure." "Nice to meet you," I replied, and walked with Ryan to the front door. Walking through the house, I could hear clear whispers and laughter. Ryan seemed to enjoy it. We were just close enough to see some figures frolicking. Hazel's laughter was very loud. I could only force a smile and keep going. If only I had known that this could have avoided the later argument with Lena. "You jerk." Lena blew up at me later that night. "How could you do that? Sleep with the woman of our new neighbor." Chloe said every man at the party has been with her. No, I didn't sleep with Chloe. I lost track of Hazel early. I did hear her talking to Ryan when I left. I avoided it. Chloe told me you left her room with a big smile. "Move your stuff to the spare room. Don't be with me tonight." This was the beginning of the predicament. Since then, the situation has been getting worse. Ryan and Hazel like to mix with others and try to draw more friends around. During that time, we lived in the same room, but we didn't really get close to each other's hearts. I was open with Lena. We had to solve these problems, otherwise I would choose to leave. Looking back on this experience, breaking up might have been the wisest choice. Although we had considered getting married and having children, fortunately we didn't have children in the end, which made the breakup relatively easy. Lena's feelings cooled rapidly because of a few words from someone she didn't like, which shocked me. If she could change her mind so quickly, maybe it was right for us to end the relationship earlier. But my mood was hard to calm down. I found a new place to move in. Not long after, Chloe contacted me, which didn't surprise me. She asked if I was interested in hanging out together. I chose to ignore her invitation. I didn't want to mix with any dramatic events again. For a year, I lived alone, feeling like my heart had been hit hard. Even so, Lena's name was still saved in my phone contacts, and every Saturday night when I saw her name, my emotions would fluctuate. That night, my phone suddenly vibrated, showing a call from Lena. My stomach ached, my heartbeat accelerated, and my hands sweated. At that moment, I was thinking about whether to answer the call or not. In the end, I let it go to voicemail. The voice message said, "Hey Ethan, can we meet and talk? I owe you an apology and I hope to express it to you face to face. I have tried to let go of everything. Why stir up the past? I still have feelings for her, but I know it's not wise to go back to that bad past." I simply replied with a text message, "No, thank you." Then her reply came, "Why not?" I could have said all kinds of fierce words, such as "I hate you, you don't deserve it," or even "You're crazy," but I chose silence. On Sunday morning, my phone was filled with Lena's text messages. If I didn't agree to meet her, she would explain everything through text messages. She never stopped her torrent of words. It turned out that Ryan and Hazel's secret activities were discovered by a divorce lawyer and submitted to the court. The video revealed the participants. As I told her before, I was not among them. Now she finally believes me and apologizes. Although I no longer pay attention to what Lena is doing since we separated, I still decided to hit her where it hurts. It doesn't matter now. "I heard you've been quite casual recently. I won't be with someone like that. Have a nice life, Lena." "Ethan, that's not true." "Who told you?" She seemed confused. I chose not to reply. A few minutes later, my phone started ringing nonstop, so I just turned it off. Talking about silence, it's really touching. I could have recorded those dozens of text messages and a bunch of voicemails that I ignored. She really wanted to clarify her reputation. How could it be true? The messages and calls finally stopped after 2 weeks. "I'm sorry. I understand now. I said some crazy things that you couldn't refute. I realized I did the same thing. I abandoned a good relationship, and now I regret it. I'll let you be alone. Nevertheless, I still love you, Lena." A week later, I decided to meet Lena for a drink. Her last message made me reconsider our relationship. A part of me was screaming to run away, but another part foolishly convinced me that everything was under control. Lena really made a lot of effort for our meeting again. She usually dressed simply, but tonight she deliberately put on a tight vest and a push-up bra, highlighting her plump figure. Her dress was obviously trying to attract my attention. "If you're going to look at me like that, then look here, Ethan," she said with a smile, pointing to her chest. "Well, they are really good, Lena. You're dressed like this to get my attention, and it would be rude of me not to look. So what do you think? Is there hope? Or what do you think?" "Well, it's hard to say. Can I get you something to drink? The usual white wine, please. Don't you think this skirt is a bit too short?" Although she should have covered up more by common sense, she seemed to go all out tonight. A glimpse of her thighs was enough to make one's heart flutter. This dress might be too much for a church, but it's just right here. "Do you often come to this cafe?" "This is my first time. I hope to meet someone like you." "Really? This is a place I often come to relax." She was obviously not satisfied with this answer. I just smiled and toasted her. "Am I stepping on your territory a bit? I heard you're a loyal person." There was a voice in my heart shouting, "Get away." Since we broke up, I had some brief happiness, but I was not ready to start over with Lena. I decided to be straightforward. "No, I can't fully trust you now. It may take a long time for me to overcome that pain." Lena looked sad. "I'm sorry, Ethan. Do you think we can get back together? Maybe this way we can still have a place in each other's hearts." She knew she had grasped my weakness, and I felt uncomfortable in my jeans. "We need to go shopping." She seemed surprised, then said, "Shall we go to your apartment or mine?" "Let's go to yours. If necessary, I can leave first." After paying the bill, I hurried to the convenience store. When I arrived at Lena's apartment, she welcomed me in a bathrobe. As soon as I took off my coat, she opened the bathrobe, standing in front of me naked, with a fiery gaze. I gently touched her and she smiled. "I'm here waiting for you. Tell me what you need, and I'm willing to do anything for you." Until the early morning, we tried some new things. This was the first time I felt this for me. Lena has everything a man dreams of. She is sexy, full of love, kind, and peaceful. But that's all. "I think you want us to be together again," I said. "I'm sorry, I don't have the feeling we had before. Maybe I need some help to understand why I'm so indifferent. I don't want to mislead you. It's nice to be with you, you're great, but it feels far away to regain the love we once had. Ethan, I see you've changed. I'll wait for you to find yourself. I still think it's all my fault." I stopped taking the initiative to contact, but Lena continued to try to keep in touch with me. She still hoped I would go back to the past, but I'm not interested in her or anyone else now. I know I need to recover from this sadness. Daniel, my psychologist, did a great job. He helped me bring Lena into our conversation. He said to Lena seriously that she didn't trust me enough, and she left crying. Later, she also found her own help. Since breaking up with Isabella, 5 years passed in the blink of an eye. In an old tea house on the other side of the city, Isabella left me a message, and I delayed a few days before deciding to call back. "Isabella, this is Ethan Gray. You left me a message. I'm really grateful that you called back. Marcus Hart and I have something to discuss with you. Can we invite you to have lunch together?" We agreed to meet at a small restaurant not far from my apartment. Lena accompanied me. A man who claimed to be Isabella's husband, Marcus Hart, was also waiting there. Isabella looked very well and behaved friendly. After everyone ordered, she took out an envelope from her handbag. "Ethan Gray, I have to tell you something and then ask for your help. When our child was born, I told everyone that Marcus Hart was the father, but in fact, he was not. The father is you." Lena held my hand tightly. My heart raced and I felt dizzy. "What do you have to say? What do you want me to do? Our child, Marcus Hart Jr., needs a bone marrow transplant and I hope you can help. In this envelope, there are DNA tests and doctor's reports proving that Marcus Hart is not the father. You need to take a test to see if it matches because I don't and you might. I have donated sperm before we met. There may be many children I have never met. Why should I care about your child particularly? He is your biological child. What does that mean to me? It makes no difference. Your child is the same to me as any possible child, And if this child comes from a dishonest person, then it's the same. If that's all, I have to go back to work. Please don't insult my wife, Marcus Hart said, holding Isabella's hand tightly, interjecting. It's okay, Marcus. His words can't hurt us. I looked at Marcus Hart coldly. Have you ever been intimate with her? I didn't until I knew she was unfaithful. After that, she begged me, but I didn't like her way. Marcus, he's lying. I have never been unfaithful, never. He's making it up. Isabella's voice trembled. Lena suddenly laughed. I have never betrayed you. That's not betrayal. Isabella was almost crying. How can you ignore your own son? What should we do? I will look for any other unknown children of mine who are sick. If there are, and their mothers are not liars, I will help. Is that okay? Please don't insult my wife, Marcus Hart said again, holding Isabella's hand tightly. It's okay, Marcus. His words can't hurt us. I looked at Marcus Hart coldly. Have you ever been intimate with her? I didn't until I knew she was unfaithful. After that, she begged me, but I didn't like her way. Marcus, he's lying. I have never been unfaithful, never. He's making it up. Isabella's voice trembled. Lena suddenly laughed. I have never betrayed you. That's not betrayal. Isabella was almost crying. How can you ignore your own son? We should do this. I will look for any other unknown children of mine who are sick. If there are, and their mothers are not liars, I will help. Is that okay? Let my son's birth certificate state that I am his father and change his name to Liam Nolan Gray. After that, I will consider the matching. Don't contact me before that. On that early morning with the faint morning light, we hurriedly left this unpleasant confrontation, while Isabella and Marcus kept urging us to stay and continue the conversation. At this time, Lena was trying to find the right words. What are you thinking, Ethan? Can she do better than you? You want to help that child, his name is Liam. Do you still not trust me? I'm sorry, if I could trust you, would you marry me? We might face a lot of difficulties together. I have considered it before. Recalling the time we spent together, I really loved her. Why not? Yes, if you help me, I will marry you. Can you help prepare the name and birth certificate change documents? I was in a good mood, and that night was wonderful. Lena also made a special proposal that was beneficial to both of us. The next day I was busy, but Lena still brought all the documents. Isabella and Marcus needed to sign in front of a notary, and then we could discuss the specific details of the next meeting. By mail, we also received a set of test kits so that I could verify whether Liam was indeed my child. We met again the next day. I'm glad you could come to see us today. Did you bring the documents? Lena asked in a completely business tone. Yes, in this envelope. And mine, Liam's test swab. I added. We have to wait until all the medical visits are over before we act. Now I have some questions to ask you. We need to clarify who will bear these medical expenses. I found out about your child during my investigation. Yes, Sophia just turned 2 last month. Ethan, when will you take the test? Once my plan was approved. That night, I told Lena I needed the documents she prepared. Feels a bit inappropriate, but I trust you, Ethan. For our common interests, I hope your plan will succeed and be legal. Have I ever told you how much I love you? Soon, you will love me as much as I love you. Keep dreaming. You will never catch up with me. Another day came, and we sat close to the safest window. Thank you for coming. I'm not sure I want to help, Isabella pleaded. Ethan, please don't say that. He really needs your help. The situation is getting worse. Does Liam like his sister Sophia? Yes. Does Sophia like her brother Liam? Yes. It would be a pity to separate them. If you want me to continue to help you with the bone marrow transplant, then you need to let me have both children. Let me take care of them alone and let them adapt to the new environment. Marcus retorted angrily, impossible. Am I going to lose my daughter to you? I'm sorry, but you also took away my child. What's the difference? I didn't steal him, Isabella said. He's mine. It's hard to believe, right? A liar and cheater says that to you. Knowing that she was already married when you were with her, Marcus fell silent. Come on, man. Give me an answer. Yes, so you think it's reasonable to take someone else's wife. Well, that's a nice way of life. You two are a good match. You need my help. Okay. Give me the child. Lena has the documents. Isabella tried not to cry. Ethan, how can you say that? Look at yourself if you want to see meanness. Take the signed documents, and when you're ready, bring the children to me. Marcus and Isabella cried together, and Lena and I stood up and left the CAF together. Lena was very quiet. She looked very upset. You showed me a side I didn't know. You seem very angry inside. I lost control. I was calm at first, but then I shouted. Do you understand why I joined the army, got married, and sacrificed for my family? I did everything right, and then my heart was hollowed out. Do you understand? Oh no, you don't, because I did everything right. Is that enough? No, I was treated badly, and my heart was broken again. Now I find out I have a son who was taken away. Do you understand? Didn't expect it. You're right, I did overreact. What was I thinking? Let me calm down and stop being silly. Maybe we shouldn't get married. I was just about to stand up when Lena suddenly spoke excitedly. Her voice was as loud as mine, and her emotions were as high. Sit down. You're not leaving. I'm sorry. I messed up. I admitted it. You know, I just wanted you to communicate with me. It seems to have worked. Maybe this way you can let go. Yes, Isabella hurt your heart, and then I hurt you too. I said I would trust you, but you know more about all this than me. I don't know where this is going or how to deal with the two children. If I seem angry, I'm sorry, but I need to know the truth. Tears were in both of our eyes, and I said, I'm sorry. You're right. Let's sit down and I'll explain my plan. I revealed my plan to Lena. That night was an extraordinary night for us. I wasn't sure if Isabella and Marcus would accept my proposal, but just 2 days later, the children were already with Lena. I've seen many adults cry, but never like that day. Lena and I took the children to a buffet for a meal, and soon after I heard that Isabella was planning to move. We arranged to meet with the children and their parents. Seeing us, Sophia ran excitedly towards Isabella and Marcus. I thought we wouldn't be able to see each other for the next 2 years. I never intended to keep them away forever. I wanted to prove whether you really love your children. The document states that I can keep them with me until they are of age. If they are found to be injured in any way, I will take them away. What about the medical issues? No, I've checked, I can't help you. My blood type tells me that I can't be a donor or a father. You have to find his biological father. I don't know who helped Marcus Jr., but after staying in the hospital for 11 weeks, he went home. Lena has been keeping in touch with them, hoping that everything will eventually get better. I kept my promise to Lena and proposed to her. We still have many issues to resolve. Daniel, our chief expert in mental communication, has been helping me deal with deep-seated anger. He is also helping Lena cope with my emotions. Lena and I are proud of our 2 daughters. Isabella and Marcus wanted another boy, but they had 3 girls. Now Marcus Jr. has 3 sisters, which is a good combination for them. Although I haven't met any children born through my donation yet, with all the online DNA websites, I feel it's just a matter of time before they find me. If they need me, I will go all out. This time without too many sudden twists. Lena and I decided to destroy all of Isabella's documents. I admit I'm a bit stubborn, but I feel I have my reasons.